and welcome to race number 2 of the VOR IndyCar Series. This is the Alts.org 350 at Michigan. It's myself, Ron Mullins, and Lucas Moody alongside me in the broadcast booth. Howie Burrows is our producer for today's broadcast using track cams provided by Whiplash SimCams and onboard cameras by Julian Altena. Who's going to taste victory here in race number 2 of the season? Let's find out. We have 350 miles to decide it as a green flag flies and the drivers are on their way here in Michigan. Pretty good start for your field. Drivers already fanning out side by side through at most 3 wide farther in the back. Drivers already experimenting with 4 wide as they head their way into turn number 1. But it's a dream start. Everything that we needed there from our pole man as we head our way down into turn number 3. Look at the slingshot run from Liam O'Sullivan to try and take the top spot. Gonna sweep around the outside with the Trailer Park Girls and get the move done. You are hauling the mail heading off into these turns. If you can catch even a whiff of a drift in the windstorm, has trouble farther in the back, spinning out of control. That right there, I believe, was Bittman.
Luckily, I don't see any front aero damage, so it might be no harm, no foul here, Ron.
Yeah, that could be a slight blessing in disguise, as there you can see the contact. Very lucky that those drivers were able to get away with it without one car taking flight. And he guns it early, leaves everybody else napping at the lights. Green flag is back at 10 laps on the board. Racing once again here at Michigan. Weitzel pulling out a lead, but that is going to come back to bite him where the sun doesn't shine here in a couple of moments' time, because everybody is going to have an almighty run. And you know, an interesting little point that I do want to raise, I mentioned, as we have a caution here in this race, and it's trouble for Julian Altena.
Altena washes up so much. You watch, he's all the way at the bottom groove, and his car goes all the way to the top groove, where there's a lime car waiting for him. He tries to turn hard right and save himself.
What in the world? I wonder if he only took 2 there. Either way you slice it, it's Liam O'Sullivan exiting out up in front as we take a look to see what happened here with Weitzel. On worn tires, this is such an easy mistake to make. O'Sullivan is still your race leader. P2 is Michael Deitch in the number 17 machine, but the battling for third and beyond is where it gets really sketchy. Sebastian Kinder, the Frenchman, holding on to that P3 spot at the moment, but Adam Williams is all over the back of him. Same could be said about Toby Deck and Rodin Eeftink right behind. 4 cars covered by nothing. Basically can fit them onto the same little sandwich box as they head their way through turns number 3 and 4. Yeah, rocking and rolling right now, getting close to lap 75 of 175 here in this second round of this season. Happy to have your company once more. Here is how things stand right now. You're looking at the battle, which, at least when it comes to the strategy these drivers are on, is for the race lead. We saw Rodin Eeftink run that alternate play call, come into the pits about 11 laps before his rivals. He's your race leader right now. There's no denying that, but he is on a much different strategy than the drivers that are behind him. So we got to wonder whether Eeftink can make things work. The yellow flag is out. We have an even harder impact than the one Altena had earlier on.
Yeah, big contact into the inside wall there. She just barely brushes the right side of her car into that outside barrier.
And has these drivers exit the pits. Speaking of, it's a good moment for Rodin Eeftink to be able to flatten out the strategy, but he's going to exit out in third as Bittman comes out with the race lead. We're good, although it was a little bit wiggly there farther in the back. I nearly brought that into existence. Thankfully, I didn't. We are clean and green as we head our way into turn number 1. Dylan Bittman, your rookie top runner as it stands right now, is your top runner point blank period, but his teammate of Williams going to look for it once more. In this event, lap 100 is going to be a big checkpoint. That'll feel like a momentous occasion for these drivers. Has contact, trouble heading through turn number 2, and that is going to send him up into the fence. More drivers piling in. That's Amon Law. Nearly ends in disaster there for Brian Fiolis. I believe there was contact. Fiolis may have just broken off a wheel, but disaster for Williams. That'll bring us under yellow here, 96 laps into the race. And let's take a look to see what happened here. Williams, really nothing that he could do. The car there on the bottom just drifting up high.
But watch as Charpentier comes up the track kind of out of nowhere, and Lal has absolutely no place to go. You'll be able to see it in the distance. You'll be able to see the smoke. But watch how quickly the 06 approaches this, and he's kind of trapped in. Matter of fact, he's smoke screen. He can't see anything, Ron.
Ever since then, it just caused that car to skate up. Yeah, he just overshot it by a country mile. And Charpentier guns it early, and we're back to green flag racing. Just keeping the gaps big as he heads his way down into turn number 1 and 2, so he won't have a challenge there. But the back straightaway is going to be a completely different story. Dan Ench also coming into pit lane here as well as a caution comes out. That changes it.
Oh my. Yeah, that is really, really game-changing. We talked about how smoothly those first run of green flag pit stops went. It looks like we cast or cursed it, Ron, because this time by the 85 is going to clip the grass just barely. That's all it takes. Oh, I see. He comes on the apron first and then dips his lefts in the grass. And it's just that little second.
The lights are shining bright on these drivers as it is a very jumbled up restart. There may be some interesting words said about that in the aftermath. Rodin Eeftink, though, leading heading into turn number 1. Lots of black flags all being cleared by race control. A trouble there in the mid-pack. That right there is Christensen spinning as he headed his way through turn number 1. And that will put us back under yellow promptly. I believe Weitzel may have gotten a piece of that. The 5, who had a very slow pit stop in his own right, may have gone collected in that incident. Let's reel it back to take a look back at that bright baby blue number 44 machine heading into the turn. Actually, bad netcode there causes rear wing to fly off, and just like that, he's gonna fly off the racing line. That was a very strange incident indeed. I feel like, considering how things have gone, we need to maybe call him Charizard because he has been on fire so far in this race. This was a really jumbled up restart. I mean, my goodness me, multiple drivers jumping at that contact there that rips off the rear wing on the number 44. Eeftink still leading. I am shocked he didn't feel pressure, as instead it was Strauss. Instead of applying the pressure to Eeftink, he was having pressure applied to him from Van Gastel. That was a bit of a spook for him, and look at that pack. 5 cars covered by nothing as they come across the stripe to start the 30th from last lap.
Charpentier has the advantage running that inside line. Watson isn't able to hold on. He's going to file out, and your big winners, Van Gastel, we're hitting the wall behind. Little bit of chaos, and Watson still hasn't figured it out. He's trying to save it. He does. He ends up saving it, but he's finding himself 3 wide once again. From 5th to 7th now goes your 39 of James Watson, and I think there might have been contact. He's got Gastel in front of him. Oh, Charpentier! Once again, he's going to run up the track. And that's going to be another contact for the 19 machine.
They've been keeping it clean and green. About 13 laps left to go. Unlucky for some, lucky for others. Let's see who's going to do it. It's a duo run for the mono competition duo. O'Sullivan had a mighty approach. Bittman had a good run as well. And they drop Eeftink back down there to 3rd. O'Sullivan jumps up into 2nd. He's now looking for the lead. It's thousands, it's inches, it's contact. Heading into turn number 1. Eeftink and O'Sullivan nearly come to blows. It is Liam O'Sullivan up at the front. Bittman just barely clinging on to B2, but it ends in tears. Contact out of turn number 4. Multiple drivers spinning around. One driver upside down. That, I believe, was Weitzel. And just like that, some of the mono competition cars that we thought were going to win for the 2nd race in a row get wiped out as a result of a crash.
On board now with Deck, the car that flipped. Yeah, Bittman's the one that gets spun up ahead. Deck isn't able to check up in time. He's going to flip across the outside wall all the way back down the track. This is the battle that we were watching now live. We have Bittman, and he's going to make contact with, I believe that's Eeftink, and one of the other blue and white cars there, and that is what's going to set it all off.
Brace yourself, folks. Remember 4th of July. Remember America's 250th. Hope you enjoy the fireworks set, because we're about to have some fireworks now. James Watson, Gubby the driver, laying on that pressure as heavy as a tungsten blanket here in a few moments' time.
Matthias Strauss, he's looking to send them 3 wide, but he does. Oh, we're crashing again. Pim Van Gastel. We have a car upside down. That is the 10 of Gastel. 2 other cars were involved in that. It looks to be Michael Deitch and Callum Ford. As with just 5 to go, we're wrecking again at Michigan. Let's take a look at how this happened.
And with only 5 laps left to go, that could easily do it. There's the contact. What could very well be the end of this race. It's understeer, big understeer there for Charpentier, and a massive impact there, sideswiping the cars. I believe it's the Elton John song, Rocket Man burning up in the atmosphere. Fortunately for Ford, he was a certified Rocket Man here. Contact made, ends up doing a full barrel roll, lands it on all 4s. I'll give it a 10 out of 10 for style as we wait for our race leader to punch the gas. There's over 10,000 feet left to go here in this race, but it's only one that matters here. It's the pedal. Liam O'Sullivan guns it here as we head our way down into turn number 1 and 2. It's O'Sullivan leading side by side there in the fight for P3. That's going to take those two drivers out of it just like that. Losing it big time is Strauss. He's going to wreck. Another driver flips up into the catch fence. That's Charpentier. Up in the front, though. Up in the front. Watson trying to get it done on O'Sullivan side by side as they head their way through turn number 3 and 4. O'Sullivan thought he could have had a dream scenario here in this race. Watson looking to peak at the right time. Side by side as they head their way to the stripe. Watson wins it by 13 thousandths of a second. 350 miles comes down to the final two, and it's James Watson winning over your reigning champ in a dramatic last lap duel. Yeah, I said there were about 5,000 feet left as we got towards that final restart, but it was only 3 feet that mattered between your top two. Folks, you were just treated to one of the best finishes that I have ever gotten the opportunity to see. And it is James Watson getting the victory by a matter of inches at the end of 350 miles. It's Liam O'Sullivan ending up directly behind there in P2. So close yet so far away for your reigning champ. Ronan Eeftink, who is one of the strongest cars throughout the entirety of the race, he comes home in a pretty stout P3. Unfortunately, did not have a chance to fight there for the win right there at the end. Julian Metzner ends up finishing this race in 4th in the number 91 machine. P5 at the end of the day will go to Alexander Weitzel. Dan Ensch will be in P6. Brian Fiolis comes across the stripe in 7th. Dylan Bittman is in 8th. Matthias Strauss and Nicolas Charpentier complete your top 10, although it should be noted Charpentier, as a result of that incident, I believe was disqualified because of incident points. So he'll very likely... he will go back to the end of the lap. So I believe that will actually hold there. So it will be P10 for Charpentier there at the end of this race. I apologize there for the misstatement. We'll take a look at the tail end of your field. Many of these racers ran into difficulties. Callum Ford, who pulled off a barrel roll on his way to being 11th at the end of this race. Pim Van Gastel, who I think would have had a real good shot to win if he had the chance to be there at the end. Unfortunately, he didn't. He ends up in 12th. So to the case of Michael Deach, who was ping-ponging his way through the field in 13th, Toby Deck in 14th place, Andres Vinci will be in P15, John Christensen in 16th, Aman Lal in 17th place. A pretty heartbreaking race after his win last time out on the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida. Adam Williams ends up in 18th. Katie Pollock is in 19th place. Sebastian Kinder comes across a stripe there in 20th, and rounding out your field here in tonight's race is going to be your 21st classified driver of Julian Altena after an early incident